They told us everything about construction, but now how do we supervise? What is the job of the civil engineer? So he's going to take us through a PowerPoint, and then he's going to show us on the Innovation Africa app, how and what do we do in order to share the information with us into the database. And last but not least, Moti will tell us how we should negotiate when we speak with contractors, and most precisely, how should we read the BOQ? What kind of tricks the contractors are doing, and what should we pay attention to when we are opening a BOQ from the contractor? So all of it, Moti will share with us from 1 p.m. until 2 p.m., about 1 hour, and then we're going to continue with the rest of the schedule. So Moti, if you're ready, the floor
I am ready.
is yours again.
Had a nice lunch and coffee. So, okay, so we will go quickly back to the civil engineering topics, and now we're going to focus on the site supervision. I will go through it really fast because we want to also have some time to speak about the app and the BOQ. So let's start with the presentation. Yeah. Great. All right, so it's good, right?
Can I just 1 second, just one small fix.
Cool. Okay, so we will go through the purpose of the site supervision, main topics, examples, and then we will go through the innovation app form. So the purpose of the site supervision is very important. I know it may seem obvious for some of us, but I think Sivan mentioned it somewhere along this week, that long time ago, or not so long time ago, Innovation Africa didn't have engineers, in-house engineers, and the contractors were basically building things as they go, give or take. So now we have our civil engineers and our engineers and supervisors, and the purpose is to ensure that the construction works are executed according to the design and specifications. We have requirements of how we want our buildings to be done, and we need to make sure that they are following it. Of course, we need to check that the contractors are following the schedule. Schedule is very important because we need to be able to complete number of projects, a lot of projects in 1 year. Another very important thing is to document. Where is my mouse? No, they see this? Yes, they see. No, yes. See this? Yes. Not good. Yeah. Document and report the construction process and challenges. So we will discuss it in the Inno app. So it's very important that every time we're on site, we document what we see. It's important how we document, what type of pictures we take, what the type of details that we are looking into. So it's very important to document, because if we're not documenting, it never happened, okay? So we're saving the documentation of the site visit reports in the database, and we know what happened along the way of the construction. Okay, important thing is that we need to help and support the contractors if they have any problems, that we can help them solve if they have any questions, any technical support they need. And the last thing is in-house. Our team on the field provide feedback of the quality of the work and the performance of the contractors. So basically, we want to evaluate the quality of work of our contractors, because we want to know if we are staying with them, if we are working with them for the long term, or maybe some contractors we might let them go. So this feedback is also very important. Okay, so the role of the civil engineer or the site supervisor is to perform the site supervision from the commencement to the completion of the project, from the moment that the contractor started to work on field till the end of the completion of the project. As we said, document and report everything, okay? And to have fluid communication with the contractors for updates and for problem solving. So this last thing is very important, the fluent communication, because as we know, our team cannot be on site 100% of the time. We're not staying with the contractor all day long. We visit the sites once a week, maybe, or something like that. But it doesn't mean that we cannot keep in touch with them. So if we're not on the field, we can still call them, ask them what they're doing today, how things are going, make sure that they're working. We can also use our trainees to do it. Okay, so if we have one or two good trainees, we can take their number, call them, ask them, did you work today? What was happening on site, and so on. Okay, another task is to coordinate and communicate with the third-party supervision. Yes, our Ivan, Brian Chuto, Conrad, Jean Jules, all these people, okay, they need to know when they come to the site, when are the critical stages, when they're going to be ready, and our team needs to prepare the contractor for the site supervision of the third-party consultants. Okay, this slide is very important. I would recommend that our civil engineers will take a print screen, and this slide is summarizing in bullet points the major topics and the major things that we need to check and to be aware of when we are doing site supervision. So we have materials topic. It's the quality of the materials, the quality of the aggregates, the cement, the reinforcement steel, the storage. We talked about these topics earlier. The methods are the methods of work, if they're using the concrete mixer, if they're using the poker vibrator, and so on. And the design compliance is to make sure that they are working according to the specification and our designs. And the safety, of course, to check that our trainees use the PPE equipment, work at height that Shalom was mentioning before, and so on. The last topic that it's not here, it's in the next slide, is the schedule, okay? Schedule is also a very important aspect that we need to be aware of. So here on the right hand, we see an example for a schedule submitted by a contractor in BWI. So yes, our team need to know what is the schedule, what is planned ahead to make sure that the contractor is on track. Okay, another point I want to mention, and this one is based on visits that we had and where I went to the site with our teams sometimes, and we discussed it a lot of times in the past, and I want to mention it again. So our teams are coming out of their office from the central city where they stay, if it's Mbale, if it's forgot the city I forgot the place in Malawi. So you go out from your office and you drive 2 or 3 hours to the village, okay, to make site supervision. You make a lot of efforts to reach there. So we need to make sure that we are prepared when we go to the site. Preparations prior to the site visit, okay? So make sure that you know the design and you have a hard copy of the design documents. So if needed, when you're at the field, you can open the drawing, you can check the specification and provide answers, okay? know the project schedule status. So if I went to the site this week and I saw that they're working on foundations, so when I go to the same site in 2 weeks or the next week, I need to know what I should expect. Are they doing the stub columns? Are they doing the slab floor? Okay. And of course, the equipment you need to take with you, if it's PPE, tape measure, level, and of course, to be prepared with the Innovation Africa app, because when you go to the field, you probably don't have the best connection to the internet and so on. So maybe at the beginning of each day, make sure that the app is synchronized and everything is ready to be used on the field. So we went through these slides already. I will skip through them to make sure that the materials are clean and pure and well stored. We talked about the equipment, okay, the methods of the work. We talked about all of these things. The mix design, okay? Most of you know we have a specific mix design of how to create and mix our concrete. So please remind yourselves our mixture design. See page 17 in the construction manual for further details, okay? All the recipe that we have for our concrete, and make sure that you know what you expect to see when the contractor is mixing concrete on site. Okay, we talked about the bending schedule and Shalom's video. Okay. Safety. Okay, so you can see that they are lifting the solar panels in a way that will not harm the equipment, and it's a safe work. This is a good example of hoisting material. Yeah. We talked about the brickworks and the plastering. So all those slides I'm running through are things that we need to check when we go on site. Of course, the curing that we talked a lot about. Now we are going into some examples, okay? So I will stay on these slides. We're going to see actual things that we need to check. I must say it's not everything, okay? It's some of the things that we need to check, but they are very important. So most of our structures, the first thing that we need to check are general dimensions, right? So if I'm seeing columns, use the tape measure to see that the columns are 23 centimeters by 23 centimeters. This is the most popular dimensions that we use in our designs. I think that only in one country or two countries we are doing 25 by 25, okay? But those are the dimensions. So once you will do it a lot, you will already know what you expect to see. You don't even need to open the drawings. You know the dimensions of your columns. Use the level, the bubble level, yeah, to check the verticality of the columns. If they are straight, check the thickness of the slabs and so on. Here in the bottom picture from Zambia, we are seeing that the slab has, it's bent, okay? Has some kind of belly, and our engineer checked if the slope is okay or it's very severe, and he used the level here. Okay, concrete finishes. You see the left picture. You can see that the quality of the concrete here is not so good. You can see the difference between the quality of the column and the quality of the concrete of the slab, okay? Maybe it's due to poor mixture, maybe it's due to poor curing, okay? The new thing that we discussed are the drainage slopes for the slabs to make sure that the water are not standing on our slabs. So check if the contractor is implementing those things, okay? Pipe clamping. This thing is always reoccurring. The pipes that coming out from the tank, a lot of times they are just connected in 2 points, once on the tank and another point on the ground. And then when you come and you just play around with the pipe just a little bit, shaking it, it's all shaky. So imagine what happens if high winds will be there, or just kids playing with the pipes, they can easily take it out. So we need to make sure that the contractor is clamping and fixing the pipes to the structure. They use clamps, they drill holes, connect it to the slabs or to the column, make sure that the pipes are fixed and they're not moving and wobbling. Okay, another thing is the conduits and wires. See in this picture how beautifully the conduits are running inside the pump room. No exposed wires, no exposed electricity. Everything is neat and nice. And another important thing, if we need to run wires or pipes, and of course we need to do it from our electrical appliances and our water systems, we are not doing it through structural elements. Structural elements are columns, beams, and slabs. Those elements holding the structure together. We don't want to drill through them, okay? The only place we can drill to run systems is through the brick wall, okay? The doors and windows, Shalom already mentioned. I saw a lot of places where you stand here, the door and window looks like they're painted really nice, okay? But if you climb or take a chair, you will see that on the top and on hidden places, you will see the paint is not complete and there are some stains of rust. So please make sure that on the handover of the project and when they are doing the painting of the door and window, that everything is covered perfectly, because one stain now will grow to a lot of rust in a matter of 1 or 2 years. Another items that we need to check is the locks and cabinets, okay? See that they are working, that they are safe, and they are fulfilling their function. I'm really running through these slides because I want to have some time to go through the innovation app. Okay, important thing with the taps. So I know that in a lot of countries we discuss this issue. Our drainage channels need to drain water, right? So we need to make sure that they are sloped, that the water will flow with gravity to the soak pit. And it's not always the case. A lot of times you see water ponding into the soak pit, into the tap stand. So if you will see in the new design, we are specifying the direction of the slopes, okay? So the water should flow from the surface through the channels to the soak pit. And when you go on site, use the level to check that the slopes are correct. Uganda team can say and tell you that we did it a lot in Uganda, and we checked all the slopes, and we saw that in some cases the contractors were not even aware of this issue. It's a small issue. It seems like a small issue, but it's very important also for the sustainability of the structure. We talked about the metal screen and the aggregates. Surface cracks, we talked about it with the curing. Okay, so for the soak pit, again, if you have the chance to see the excavations, check the general dimensions to see that the width is 1 meter by 1 meter, the depth is at least 1 meter. See if they are using the geotextile membrane, because once they are covering the soak pit, it's very hard to tell and to know what was actually done. We have the concrete cover. Make sure that you have 2 metal handles casted in, and the cover is is overlapping and covering the whole area. Same for the cattle trough. This is a beautiful picture of cattle trough. Look at the nice finish, the smooth finish of the concrete, the well done reinforced slab. Okay. Make sure that they have these openings in the center wall, so water can flow from one chamber to another. And of course, if you see cattle trough in construction, so if you see the block works, you can check the quality of the block works. And if you see the finishes, same thing. Check the finishes of the concrete, check that the curing is being done properly. Okay, we ran through the site supervision really quick. Now I want to show you the innovation app form. I don't think that they have questions. Yeah, Raymond is asking a question. Yeah. Raymond from Malawi is asking about clarification for drilling through block works and not through concrete. When we want to clamp the GI, we need to drill through concrete. Yes, of course. Clamping the pipes is through the structural elements, but this is really small drills for bolts, just for clamping. And we also drill into the columns when we are putting the guardrails for the tank slab. It's the same drillings. It's not affecting the structural elements so much. What I mean is to drill big holes to run pipes through it. So we saw projects where pipes were drilled, were run through beams or through slabs. First of all, it weakens the slab or the beam. Second of all, water can come in gradually, okay, through this drill, and then damage the reinforcement steel and damage the structural element. Hope that helped.
Moti, I do have a question, if you can teach me.
Please.
It is about the mixing of the concrete. It says here it's 1:2, the ratio. Can you explain to me what does it mean?
Yes.
Is it sand, cement, aggregate? Can you teach me how it works specifically when it comes to the concrete mixer of 400 kilogram, which is what we're asking, I believe, our contractors to use, those kind of large concrete mixer. Can you tell me how does it work?
Yes, so of course, concrete, the components of concrete are, let me go through it. Yes, sand, aggregate, cement, and water. Those are the components. So the ratio 1:2 is the volume ratio, okay, for 1 unit of cement, 2 units of sand, 2 units of aggregates. The water are calculated differently as cement water ratio, which is usually 0.5, 0.55, okay? So we have the table of mixing the concrete. The table is specifying, where is it? Yeah, in the construction manual. The table is specifying how we use the gauge boxes for different volumes of mixers, okay? But the ratio is always maintained the same to achieve the right concrete mixture.
So 1 unit of cement equal 2 units of aggregate and also 2 units of sand. What about the water?
The water are, the ratio of water cement is 0.55, okay? And they use liters. They use it in liters with buckets. Now, it's a very good point that you ask about the water, because most of the time contractors tend to add a little bit more water because it makes the concrete more workable, okay? Imagine that you want to cast something and it's like a paste, it's sluggish. So it's really hard to work with it. And if you add water, it's more fluid and it's more workable. So sometimes contractors used to put more water than needed just to make the concrete workable. But if they use more water than needed, they can compromise the final strength of concrete. So yes, look at page 17 in the construction manual.
And if they put too much water, can it be also that the strength of the concrete will not be as good? This is
Yes.
why it's so important to keep those ratio.
Yes, yes. If they're using a lot more water than needed, it can damage the final strength of the concrete. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Moti.
Okay, let's go to the app. Stop sharing and now.
Sorry, Marty, can we just jump in here? I want to just address one question from Raymond, who said he needs some clarification on drilling. It is recommended to drill on block work and
We
not.
talked about it, yeah.
Ah, okay, sorry.
Thanks.
Sorry. Bye.
Now I need Sharon's help.
I'm just
And
thinking if it's
Jeremy?
gonna be too confusing to see it this way.
Moti, if you need a backup, let me know.
Sorry, just 1 second.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I have the
close
dream
that.
team here.
Do we need this later on?
Oh, good, Jeremy's there.
No, we're done with
Yeah.
this.
Great.
Tonight?
Mhm.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you, Jeremy. All right, so I'm very, very happy to got to this point that I'm able to show you the form of the site supervision. A lot of thanks to Jeremy, to Tara, all the people worked very hard to make it happen. So the aim of this thing is simple, to make our life easier and more effective. Okay, so up until today, we had checklists, we had things that you wrote on the notebooks, you had things that you wrote on the WhatsApp, and it was all scattered data. So the idea of the form in the innovation app is to have all the data standardized in one way and directly connected to the database. So all your site visits, all your observations will be uploaded directly to the database, and we will have access to see it. We will have access to filter any data that we want, okay? So maybe at the beginning, it will be a little bit, we will have a learning curve, but I'm pretty sure that once you will start using it, it will be easier for you. So maybe I went through the stages fast. Okay. So before starting to work with the app, make sure that you have the latest version. Okay. This is one thing. Second thing, make sure that you fully synchronized the app. Okay. The sync app, you do it when you have a good connection. This is synchronizing the database and the app that you have on your device. And the latest version is this version. Okay, if you have older one, it will not work. Can you see the mouse that I'm? Yeah, okay. So after we done that, we are ready to go to the field. Okay, we go to project management. And now I'm going to open a dummy project, a fake project. So when you're going to look for your project, you can filter according to the name of the country. You go to in process, you find the project. Now I will go to the dummy project just for the demonstration.
Towards the top. And just go down a little bit from the top.
I'm not able to go a little bit.
Okay, go down just a little. Or you can use the search button.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I use the scroller, and okay,
Uh-huh.
great.
There we are.
Okay, so then you find your project, you open the project, and you see all the previous forms listed down here. Let's say now we went to the site and we saw construction stage. Okay, you push this plus on the bottom, you choose the type of the form, construction site supervision, start new form. Now it says that you can upload pictures from your device or taking pictures live when you're using the app.
Just give it a second, it's loading.
Yeah, and it's loading now. Good.
Here it goes.
Okay, so first thing is to mention the date of the visit. Yes, this is today. Number of towers. Usually, most of the cases, we have one. If we don't have one, we type the number of towers. Now, yeah, we start with the tower. So we choose the tower ID that is automatically produced according to the project. Okay, and the tower height, we have 3 meters, 7 meters, 10 meters. Let's say we see a 10-meter tower, and then you need to choose the construction stage. So let's say we came to Bubuzi or St. Peter's or Nala or all those nice projects that we have. And now we saw that we are on the ground floor, the ground slab stage. So you will see that the construction stages are opening according to the type of tower. So if we have 7-meter tower, the construction stages will open accordingly and with the right sequence. Okay, let's say we see a 10-meter tower and we are seeing the ground slab. So you choose the construction stage, and the questions below will be according to the construction stage. Some questions may reoccur that they are relevant for all construction stage, like the project sustainability, waste is disposed, site is clean and tidy, and so on. So yes, a clean and tidy site is very important. So I hope most of the time we will just click yes. If we click no, you have a room to make description. Now, the way of putting descriptions and putting the right pictures is a matter of practice and experience. And the description should be short, okay, and accurate. We don't need a lot of words, but of course, if you see anything extraordinary, please write a description. So let's say that the site is not clean and it's not tidy, so you can type, let's say, cement bags are not stored properly, okay? Or something like that, and whatever observation that you have. And you can, of course, add picture to this specific question. Now, the pictures are very important because pictures give us a really good concept of what's happening on site. And the pictures for engineering are much different from the pictures that we take for the community. So please, we don't need to see, beautiful smiles and nice faces in the engineering pictures. You want to take a picture that tells the story the best way in the engineering matter, okay? If it's the reinforcement, take a close picture. We can see if the spacing is correct or not correct, or if something is wrong, okay?
And Moti, can I please ask you a question here? Let's say they see that it is not clean or the cement is not well stored. Of course, they should report it, but at the same time, they should be acting on it, right? They should talk with the contractor. They should, right? It's not just for us to know. it's for them to share the data, but truly it is more for them than anything else, because when they go back the week after, they can see what happened the week before and are there any improvements. So they should be acting. If they see anything wrong, they should be definitely speak with the contractor about it.
Exactly. Yeah, very good point. So the forms are also helping us to follow up. So when we see those things, we talk to the contractor, we are able to see next week if they improved, of course. So we also have the PPE. It's a returning question. Question if the materials are adequately stored. And then we have questions about equipment. If we see the mechanical soil compactor, okay, if they are compacting the soil, if they have the right mechanical concrete mixer, if they have a poker vibrator. The gauge boxes are the boxes for the concrete mixing. So I know that in some places they don't have the specific gauge boxes and they have some type of standard buckets. It's also okay as long as you're sure that the concrete mixing is according to our specifications. And if not, please write a description, okay, take pictures if needed. Okay, and then when you scroll down slowly, you will see questions that are most relevant for the specific construction stage. So, for example, shuttering works and dimensions are according to design. This is, of course, correct for all structural elements. But here we have a question about dam-proof membrane. Okay, so the dam-proof membrane is the plastic sheet that we put, okay, before we cast the ground slab. We talked about it earlier. So this will only appear if you type in the construction stage of ground slab. Apron dimensions, okay, and then some questions about reinforcement. Here we have a question about the earthing system, the grounding system. Also, this one appears only in this stage, and it's very important to see if it's done correctly. And please comment here if you see any observations and take good pictures. So we have all these questions, okay? They are relevant for specific construction stage. Some of them are returning questions. So you fill it up and you continue. So if we have more than one tower, you can press add tower and do it again for another tower, okay? After the tower, we have tap stands. Now, the tap stands are a little bit different because most of the time we're not going to fill in each and every tap stand because we know that the contractor is building them in bunches, right? In clusters. They're doing, let's say, 3 or 4 tap stands on the same day. So here you will write, oops, sorry. Yeah, yes, here the tap stand, so you can add like few of them together, not to choose only one. If you choose, let's say, tap stand number 2, number 3, and number 4 together, and everything that you fill in after that is relevant for those tap stands that you mentioned here, okay? And then you check that the location of the tap stand is according to design, meaning according to the EPANET. And then the questions are again relevant for the tap stands. Yes, the foundation of the tap stands, the shuttering dimension, the reinforcement, and so on. So you fill it in and add pictures. Now about adding pictures, you don't need to add picture for each and every question. If things are in order, and you just click yes, let's say yes, they did the curing properly, and it's just another curing that you saw millions of times before, you don't need to add a picture. Usually the pictures will be for the unusual things, for the things that are not in order, okay? But also it's nice if you can take an overall picture sometimes just to see the whole of the tower or to see the top stands all together, even if everything is okay. So
Moti, along those lines, can I just add something real quick? As
Sure.
you all see here, every single supervision point has essentially two things underneath it, the capability to write a description and add a photo. But again, like Moti said, pictures and description are not required on every single supervision point. Okay, only potentially if it's a no or something's not done right. So it won't take you 2 hours to fill this form out. It really needs to just focus on the highlighted points. Of course, if you have to click yes or no on every single question. And then at the end, you can upload photos for the entirety of the project as well.
yeah, good point. So you go through the questions, and at the end, you also have comments. If you have overall comments or overall pictures that you want to add, this is the place to put some general pictures. Even if things are done correctly and everything is okay, and you want to add few pictures just to show the overall picture of the tower, overall picture of the top stand, this is very good and recommended to do it. Same thing with the cattle trough. Usually we have one cattle trough. So same thing with cattle trough, some questions about the cattle trough, places for description and pictures. So once you are done with this thing, you are going and saving the form. Okay, this is the place to put some more pictures if you want, and then you just click save. Now, when you click save, and Tara or Jeremy, please chip in if I'm saying something not correct. When you click save, you save the form into your device. So if you're in the rural areas and you don't have good connection, you just save it into your device. And then when you go back to the internet, you need to submit it. When you press submit, it will go and be uploaded to the database. Is that right, Tara? Or?
You are absolutely correct. Yep.
Good. What's the time we have? Perfect timing. Okay. So last few words about the Eno app. Let's see if people are commenting.
Yeah, so there's a few questions here. Some of it is technical related for Jeremy, like having the ability to remove a photo that they uploaded. But for instance, Josiane also raised a good point that if we could get access to have a downloadable or printable version of this, which Jeremy shared that we'll be explaining more about accessing these forms from the website, where they'll be able to download as well, either in an Excel or a PDF. And
yeah,
then
I see
you
great,
see Abraham's.
Great question by Harry.
And Harry, yeah.
Yeah, Harry from Zambia. Great question. So yes, in some instances, we give site instructions to the contractor. And if it's something you can summarize in words and you say it into the description, it's very good. Let's say, you want to tell him that he needs to do the earthing system better or something like that, great. And if it's more than that and it includes some sketching, you can take a picture of this paper and upload it as a picture attached to the form. So we will know that with this form, you submitted also some sketches or some site instructions, and it's binded together as a picture. Okay. What else? Yeah, I think that it takes some time to practice and to use it. And I'm sure that at the beginning it might be a little bit hard, but we will go together with it and we'll give you the right support. And I think that with time it will be much easier. Okay. Now let's go.
I would like to say a brief thing to Rachel's comment. Rachel mentioned that she said, I believe there's need for site instruction books specifically for IA engineers kept at site to ensure that all teams have a follow-up on previous site visits in relation to their respective site construction works. I would say, Rachel, one really good way of being able to follow up on previous supervision reports is that once a team member, irregardless of who's doing it, so say, Rachel, you're going on a site visit, but the previous week another team member of yours went on another site supervision. If your team member had submitted, like they were supposed to, a site supervision form, you will have access to see that from your phone application and see everything that they reported previously from the previous visit. So you will be able to see what was reported on previously, even if you're not doing the supervision from beginning to end.
Great. Anything else?
Josiane asked if there's any other form of reporting needed apart from the information submitted on the form.
No, this is the form for the construction site supervision. Yeah, that's supposed to be the only way of reporting. And yeah, this thing is replacing any WhatsApp or paper thing, okay? We can still use WhatsApp as a tool just to communicate between us, maybe to inform things, but reporting through WhatsApps are not considered as official reporting, only through the Innovation Africa app. When it goes to the database, yeah, this is the only way.
Moti, do you want to share anything? Maybe we do it in a different forum, but about the expectations of contractor reporting to Innovation Africa.
Yeah, let's do it in a different. It's not relevant for now, okay, and it's not relevant for everyone. So I want to use the last minute just to quickly show you the BOQs.
Moti, sorry, I do have one more comment regarding reporting. Overall, we should be getting 3 types of reportings per site. We have the one that you just showed from our IA civil engineers by completing the form on the app. We have the reports that we get at least 3 times from the third-party engineers. And then we also, and Moti, if you can talk about that, are we also expecting the contractors to send to us any type of reports?
Yes, the contractors are sending us weekly progress reports. It is also part of the contract that we have with them. Okay, we are signing in the contract. They are required to report weekly process, and it's also they are paid for it. Okay, this is one type of form that we get directly from the contractors. And as you mentioned, the third-party consultants, they provide their own reports when they are coming to the site for the critical stages and for the completion stages. Yes, those 2 types of reports are separate from our system.
We also have the completion report by the contractor as well at the end of the project.
Yes, those reports are separated from the Innovation App report. For now, this app is only used for our internal site supervision reports. Okay. I see Hagar is asking about the weekly meetings. So we have weekly meetings for construction. And if there is any need to prepare combined specific report, no. So once we're going to start, I'm not sure if it's going to happen next week, but maybe next month or next 2 months when the Innovation App will run smoothly, we will have all the data required for our weekly meetings. The only thing that I think we should show in the weekly meetings is maybe more pictures or additional pictures that we didn't put into the report, just to describe what's the status on a specific project if we want to talk about it more. Raymond is asking, yeah, Tara is answering. Okay, I will
It's
open
actually
the,
important that can you open the installation form, because quite a few of your IDs are generated in that form.
no, I want to go through the BOQ now.
Okay.
Yeah, the installation form, you talked about it.
I did. I just want to remind everybody that all of those IDs that Moti reviewed are generated when an installation form is submitted. So that needs to be filled out after the drilling stage and before the construction stage.
Where is the drawings? Yeah. Okay. Maze.
So now I believe the most important part is to talk about the BOQ and negotiations with the contractors, because this past year it has been quite difficult, to be honest, when we had to negotiate with some of our contractors. So Moti will take us through the BOQ, the master one, the new one. And just a reminder, you do have a BOQ per country. It is almost the same, but it is a bit different from one country to the other, and Moti will explain why.
Great. So as Ivan mentioned, in the global documents folder, you can find the drawings and the BOQ specified for every country. Each country has their own folder. If I'm going Cameroon, they have the BOQ template and their designs. Same for Uganda, Zambia, and so on. Okay, so please find the template BOQ in these folders. Now, the template BOQs are used as a BOQs, of course, for our projects. But what I'm going to show you now is very important, because they are template BOQs. They have all the items, all the structures, and we need to tailor it and to modify them according to a project. Now, I know that not everyone is dealing directly with the BOQ, okay? But I just want to go through it very quickly in general to see the important points about the BOQ. Sharon will help me now.
And Moti, just as a reminder, on Monday, you're going to do a BOQ workshop with the civil engineers. Is that true?
Yes, we will have plenty of time to discuss the drawings and discuss the BOQ in a workshop. And we will going to have some kind of exercise, some kind of open discussion, not a presentation vibe, more like I want you to see the drawings and I want you to calculate quantities into the BOQ, and we will do it on Monday. So what I'm going to show you now is a template BOQ from Uganda. And it's very similar to other countries. The only thing here I want to show you is that we have the tabs here below, okay? So we have tabs for preliminaries and general, and we have tab for 10-meter tower, 7-meter tower, and 3-meter tower, okay? We have tabs about water departments and electrical departments that I'm not going to talk about. And we have tab for auxiliary structures. The auxiliary structures are the tap stands and the cattle trough. Now, the places that we need to modify, for example, is if now we have project with only one tower of 10 meter, right? So we need to make sure that we are not giving the contractor the 7-meter and the 3-meter tab, okay? And if we go to the auxiliary structures here in this tab, we need to make sure that the quantity here is correct. If we have 8 taps and so on, 10 taps, we need to see that the quantity here is correct, okay? And for the towers, we have a few more things that I want to talk with you quickly. So we have the preparation works of the foundations and earthworks. This also includes the dam-proof membrane here. If you see clause 2.08, and we don't have a dam-proof membrane, for example, in tank stand of 3-meter tower. Sometimes we have, sometimes we don't, okay? So if we don't have a pump room in our project and we have a 7-meter tower or a 3-meter tower without the pump room, we need to go through the items and make sure that only the relevant items are in it, okay? So for example, the dam-proof membrane will not be here, okay? Now, the quantities of the concrete is quite, it's fixed. It's called calculated according our designs. Of course, you are welcome to check it. And the quantities of the reinforcement and the steels are also calculated according our designs. Okay, another thing that can be modified is all the parts relating to the block works. As I said, if we're not having a pump room in some specific tower, so we need to make sure that we take out the plaster works or the block works, okay? Each tower has a mounting structure, okay? Mounting structure for solar panels, it's an item. It's an official item now, okay? And I want to show you how it looks like. For example, this is the Uganda design. And yeah, no problem. Let me scroll. Yeah, okay. So now we have standard drawings for solar panels, okay? For the mounting structure of solar panels. Up until today, the contractors were doing and welding and improvising whatever structures that they wanted. Now we have a standard design. So this is how it looks like. Take some time to have a look at it. Okay, so
Moti,
this is.
can I ask you a question regarding that page, please? If you can go back up, and to show us again the numbers for concrete and steel work, those numbers.
Yes.
Now, am I correct by saying that the only reason why we have different BOQs per country is because the numbers of the concrete and the reinforcement requirement differs from one country to the other, just because of the drawings that we have received from the in-house designer, third-party supervisor. Because in every country, the requirement is a bit different on how much steel and how much concrete we should be using. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct. And I have actually another BOQ here. I chose to show Uganda BOQ and South Africa BOQ because of their differences that you just mentioned. Okay, so I will go through it in a bit. So we have the mounting structure and the earth grounding system. So those items also sometimes that should be included and sometimes not. Okay, so we need to make sure that all of the items are relevant for our project. And again, in Monday, we will have some time to dive into it. So following Sivan's comment, now we are seeing South Africa BOQ. And why I'm showing this BOQ? Because the South Africa design has different type of foundations, okay? So the foundations, for example, of South Africa, as you see here, are different from the foundations done in Uganda. And then we see it in the BOQ, okay? If we go to the concrete and steel sections, it looks a little bit different, okay? So here, they don't have a section of pad foundations or tie beams, okay? And also each country is using different types, a little bit of types of bending schedules, some minor differences according to local practices. So these sections are modified according to the design of each country, okay? And this is an example for one difference for the foundations, but also some structural elements might be a little bit different between the countries. Okay, I think we are generally done with the BOQ and we will dive into it on Monday. I want to show you one more thing. In the auxiliary structures, in the past, there was a lot of questions about the reinforcement of the tap stands and the cattle trough and what is included and what's not. So now we have the tap stand and the cattle trough and the soak pit as a lump sum item like before, but we are specifying the quantities here. The quantities here are specified as for one tap stand, okay? So the volume of concrete and so on is specified for one tap stand or one soak pit or one cattle trough. And then when the contractor is seeing that you have, let's say, 10, okay? So he need to make sure that he understand, and you need to make sure that he understand that the quantity of 10 need to be multiplied by the quantities of one tap stand. And also we added here that the reinforcement are according to design and are all also included in the pricing of one tap stand, okay? Let's see if we have any questions. We can talk a lot more about the BOQ, but we don't have much time to do it now, and we will do it on Monday. So.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few questions specifically about getting into the sections and really talking about the different line items. So if we need to put that off for.
Yeah, so I see Gabby is asking about the BOQ negotiations and pricing. So I think we will discuss it on Monday a little bit about the pricing attitude and the negotiation a little bit. We will talk about it on Monday. Josiane asking about the curing. So no, we are not including the curing in the BOQ. It's considered as the equipment of the contractor, okay? Things that he need to use as part of the works. And when we price concrete, we price the work of concrete, the materials, the curing. So we don't go into this resolution. Okay. Chisomo is asking, in case of 3-meter tank tower that has no pump room, we need details for the manhole that houses the manifold. Yes. So, you know, at Chisomo, you had this type of project in Malawi recently. And now we have two types of manholes, standard types of manholes in the design. This is the valve manhole and the borehole manhole. If we need any other special manhole, okay, so this is the 10% that it's different from our standard and we need to attend it specifically, okay? But what I said before, sometimes we have tank stands without pump room. So in this case, we need to make sure that the BOQ don't have the plastering items and the block works items and so on. Let's see if we can answer. In the file asked some things. Where is it? Yeah. Yeah, we do it on Monday. All the quantities, calculations, and going into the details. Yes, I'm very happy that you went into these details. We will do it on Monday in the workshop. Yeah, I think we're done.
Excellent. Thank you, Marty.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening.
Regarding